one of the guys that I think, aside from Osa, that I've been super excited about and couldn't wait for him to get playing time, and this is why Jaylon Smith being gone allowed him to be there, is Jabril Cox.
Yeah, the wide receiver.
And not the wide receiver, Mike. He's not a wide. He looks like one because he's trim and he wears number 14. No, he's the one that made the play on the goal line.
There.
But here's something interesting that I thought, this is going to hold him back. Dan Quinn said he's ready for the moment for sure. He prepares hard and works at it hard. He's another one of those guys through his role, how we're trying to develop him. Some of it is on special teams. Now we're on goal line. And as the season goes on, I'm sure there will be some spaces for him on third down as well. It sounds like they are growing him.
Yeah.
Not saying, like Micah, they're just like, you can do it all.
Yeah.
But Jabril, they're like, we know what you're going to be able to do, but you're going to need to develop a lot of skills over time to work on.
Help me out, Tolos, and help me out here, Kevin, because you might remember the story better than I do. I know Datwin was a very good player for the Dallas Cowboys. Yes. Was he in his rookie year a good player? Because I feel like Jabril Cox can be a version of Dat Win, as in Dat was not a high draft pick, but he was an impact player at Texas A&M, and people just thought, I don't know if it's going to correlate to the NFL, and it did. He was a solid player, not a Hall of Famer or an All-Pro, but a very good player, and I feel like Jabril Cox is going to be kind of our Dat Win 15 years later, 20 years later in the draft of like, yeah, like we saw it. Teams weren't crazy about the transition to the NFL, but I just think he's going to be a very solid player for us, where Mike is going to be the all-pro, the possible Hall of Famer. And then we got this other guy in the draft that's going to be our Dat Win type of player.
It took a couple of years, I think, before you would say like impact.
All right.
But he did fit the bill that it sounds like you're looking for from Jabril Cox, like out of the gate, where you're like, hey, this is absolutely a contributor. This is absolutely somebody who is helping out our team. And I think maybe that's what you could look for. And then in 2 years, he blew up and I think might have led the league or led the team in tackles.
What's interesting, too, about Wynn and Coakley, when Bill Parcells got here, he was like, they're not big. I don't know if they're big enough to play my position. I don't know if they're big enough to play linebacker in this league for me. And I think Wynn earned every ounce of respect from Parcells afterwards. He was like, wow,
He put on bigger shoulder pads.
Well,
I noticed that to make his shoulders.
Actually, I think he did. But like Jabril Cox, and this was the thing. This was what Dan Quinn said he wanted. We've talked about this ad nauseum. Bigger, faster, longer, stronger. And Jabril Cox is 6'3", 233 pounds. That win was 5'11". Like that's
what she said.
It is a different size. Cox is a different size player and has a different skill set. But I do think he does need to develop more, because he got 1 year at LSU. Like what he was doing at was it North Dakota State?
Right.
It was very different than what he's being asked to do now. But I think those skills are going to help him in the NFL. It's just a matter of, can you teach him the physicality of the NFL game? Because Kevin, listening to Dan Quinn talk about people, what was it, the chippy? He said a lot of people use the word chippy to describe what was going on the field. He was like, it's not really what it is. It's nasty. It's gross. It's awful. It's in the mud whenever you're in the NFL game. Chippy's fun though, and he's like, it's not really that style. I think being able to develop that physical mindset is very important for a guy like him.